Even the hot list is all about Xiaya being violated. Suddenly, Xiaya became the subject of ridicule among classmates. The popular model who was surrounded by everyone became a topic of conversation for countless people in one night. The bad guy hurt her body, and the public opinion kept hurting her dignity. Even Ah Hang didn't want to face him. When Xiaya was about to give up, her childhood friend appeared and made her feel a little warm. This boy saw Xiaya's situation and sat next to her with a boxed meal. Although he didn't know how to comfort Xiaya, he still helped Xiaya block those bad rumors and took Xiaya out for a walk. The summer wind was full of heat and uneasiness. The rose petals hanging on the roadside were particularly bright. They walked to the rose tree, and the boy gave Xiaya a rose. The two looked at each other quietly, but the person they missed was not the same. Xiaya took a bite of the fresh red petal and smelled the faint fragrance on the rose petal. At this moment, she seemed to forget all her troubles until a boy appeared and made her unconsciously slow down her hands. Even her eyes were sucked by an invisible force. Ah Hang's appearance still disturbed Xiaya's heart, so Xiaya followed Ah Hang's footsteps. She saw Ah Hang untying the rope of the boat. Xiaya jumped on the fishing boat first. On the boat, Xiaya cried out her grievances and doubts. These days, she saw that Ah Hang had no expression on her face, so she pushed Ah Hang into the sea in anger. What surprised her was that Ah Hang, who fell into the sea, did not struggle, but let himself sink slowly. Xiaya was afraid that something would happen to Ah Hang, so she desperately pulled him up from the sea. But in the next second, Ah Hang's words completely broke Xiaya's heart. My daughter, you are so troublesome. I don't want to get involved in your life anymore. Don't get involved with me anymore. Hang's heart better. Xiaya attended the firefighting party once a year. As the son of God, Ah Hang held a special ceremony with his people. The spectacular scene filled the surroundings. Xiaya tried her best to squeeze to the front to take a look at the golden-haired boy wearing a mask. At this time, a strange man suddenly broke the silence. He told Xiaya in a hurry that his grandfather was sick and was hospitalized. Before Xiaya could react, he pulled him away. All this was seen by Ah Hang, but he couldn't leave, because there is a rule in the tribe that you can't leave before the ceremony is over. But as the ceremony went on, the bracelet Xiaya gave to Ah Hang suddenly broke. Ah Hang suddenly felt a sense of uneasiness. He didn't know that Xiaya was about to face a disaster. It turned out that this strange man was actually a fan of Xiaya. He wanted to be with the woman he loved so much, so he made an evil plan in his heart. The route he took was not the way to Xiaya's house, but he parked the car in a deserted forest. Then he held Xiaya in his arms. Fortunately, Xiaya struggled for a while and managed to escape from him. Ah Hang, who had been driven here, found her. But when Ah Hang was about to pull Xiaya away, the strange man behind her suddenly rushed up and knocked Ah Hang out. In the end, Xiaya still couldn't get through this injury. On this quiet night, full of light, the girl was in front of the boy and suffered an indelible pain in her youth. Ah Hang blamed himself in his heart. He hated himself for being useless. His beloved was hurt in front of him, but he couldn't even lift a heavy body to resist. When other people arrived at the scene, the strange man had long disappeared, leaving only Ah Hang's helpless grief and tears in Xiaya's eyes. Also because of this, Xiaya was labeled as unclean. He used to be always sunny, but now he often looks weak. What's worse is that the internet is full of rumors about him. He, who has never felt love, actually felt the heart flutter for the first time in a long time. Seeing Ah Hang looking so seriously, Xiaya also took the courage to say what was hidden in his heart. He told Ah Hang that since the first time he saw him in the sea, his heart had been attracted to him. He didn't know if he liked that feeling. He only knew that from then on, the boy's appearance would always appear in his mind. But no matter how hard he tried, what he got was Ah Hang's ignorance. He could only look forward to those exposed, blood-stained photos. He wanted to get the boy to look at him in this way. Speaking of which, Xiaya looked down sadly. Ah Hang felt her sadness. He took out a bottle of water from the bag and gave it to Xiaya. Xiao. You opened the bottle cap slowly and carefully, but the water on her face was seen. After that, she took a sip and gave the water to Ah Hang. But Ah Hang's attention was not on the water at all. They kissed each other at this moment. It was like a cool breeze in summer, gently blowing over the hearts of two people, taking away a little heat, leaving a refreshing coolness that makes people reminisce. From then on, they dated more and more. They would hold each other's hands and walk on the street together. They would feel the breeze in the sky at night. But even if they liked each other in their hearts, Ah-hang would always deliberately distance Xia uncontrollably. At this time, Xia didn't know that the boy was carrying an important responsibility. As the son of God, Ah-hang had a mission to protect his people since birth. Being too obsessed with love would only make him lose himself slowly. In order to make this relationship slowly fade, he could only pretend to be calm. He showed all his indifference and made Xia feel that his love was blowing like the wind. He was fierce when he came, but he didn't leave a trace when he left. In order to get into now she is just a model without popularity. But what is particularly coincidental is that the next day, a famous director came to Xiaya's house and wanted her to take a group of photos. Xiaya knew that the director's shooting style was more exposed. But now she wants to show her charm and attract the boy's eyes. She can only bite her teeth and agree. Unexpectedly, when she was shooting the next day, a stone suddenly flew over from afar and hit the photographer. "This is our property. What are you guys doing?" "That's mine too. Ah-hang left here late." Out of love for God, Xiaya also followed him without hesitation. They were chasing this donkey together. But not long after, Xiaya fainted on the ground because she had no strength. The photographer who followed her happened to see the girl lying on the ground. He thought it was a rare feeling to be pure and jade. He hurried up and took a picture of this scene. But Xiaya, who had promised to take a blood-stained photo, covered her face with her hand at. This time, he was not sure if he was doing the right thing. Until the day of school, Xiaya called Ah-hang from behind. He told Ah-hang that the blood-stained photo had been taken. Then he ran out of the classroom without looking back. Ah-hang followed him at random. They chased him in the alley. Xiaya finally reached her goal and caught Ah-hang's interest. Ah-hang was particularly curious about the content of the blood-stained photo. He forced Xiaya to give him the blood-stained photo. Ah-hang pretended to be calm and took the blood-stained photo. When Xiaya's appearance appeared in front of him, he gradually fell in love with this beautiful face. During class, Xiaya couldn't help but look back at him. The picture of the night before always flashed in her mind. After class, the classmates all went around Xiaya and asked her if she had seen many artists, if she had really been to a magazine. Looking at Xiaya in the magazine, the classmates all expressed their envy. But the young man next to her spoke impolitely. Faced with the young man's mockery, Xiaya refused to concede. She said what Ah-hang said when she entered the neighborhood. Yesterday, the whole class was stunned. Because there is a legend in the local area, there is a god in the sea. Those who disturb will be dragged into the abyss. The classmates reminded Ah-hang to be careful of curses. But Ah-hang didn't care at all. Even though Xiaya heard the legend of the sea, after school, Xiaya still walked into the neighborhood and found Ah-hang. Ah-hang took her to a rock and looked at the beautiful scenery by the sea together. In order to take revenge on Xiaya, Ah-hang pulled her into the water, a moment of cold sea water wet their clothes. Then Ah-hang spoke with pride. "I can play with the sea and the mountains as I like. I can do whatever I want in this town." The pride and impulse hidden in Ah-hang's bones seemed to awaken Xiaya's love for life. She began to slowly adapt to the days in the countryside and like the time with Ah-hang. During class, if Ah-hang's figure has never appeared behind her, she will still feel empty in her heart. Some classmates told Xiaya that Ah-hang actually has another identity. As the son of God, he has always had the right to freedom. His family has been guarding this land for generations, and Ah-hang is the only heir of God. Hearing this news, Xiaya was surprised. She especially wanted to attract the attention of this boy, but there was no way. This is a movie adapted from an animation in 2016. It only took 17 days to shoot. The hero and the heroine seemed to have spent half their lives together. After the movie was shot, the two of them did not contact each other. They each spread different rumors. But I didn't expect that 5 years later, they suddenly announced their marriage. If you look back at this movie, you will find that the secret of their relationship is hidden in the plot. Xiaya, who is 15 years old, is a flat model. At that time, her career was on the rise. But because of family affairs, She had to leave the bustling Tokyo and transfer to a rural school to complete her studies. This also caused Xiaoya's acting to stop. She moved to a fishing village that didn't even have a convenience store. Grandpa was very happy to see them return to the countryside. That night, he invited the whole village to dinner at home. But Xiaoya hated this lively atmosphere, so she stood up and left home. She walked by the sea without purpose. After a few steps, Xiaoya saw a sign. It said, "No entry." Her strong curiosity made her unable to stop. Xiaoya walked into the forbidden area without hesitation. There was a mysterious sea in the forbidden area. The sea was filled with golden light. It was quiet around and made people panic. Xiaoya probably didn't expect that her bold move would completely change her future life. Suddenly, Xiaoya saw a young man with yellow hair lying in the sea. When she slowly walked in, she was immediately fascinated by the handsome face of the young man. Xiaoya was completely immersed in this feeling. Before she could react, the young man rushed to her with the breath of the sea breeze. The next day, Xiaoya came to the new class to introduce herself. Before she finished speaking, the classmates cheered. A famous model came to the class to make them excited. Only the young man sitting in the corner looked out the window as if he had nothing to do with it.